When all of this stuff starts breaking out, all hell is breaking loose, Christians are dying, being persecuted and put to death, just like the book of Revelation tells us is going to happen in the fifth seal. And I want you to understand, those first 5 seals, that's not the wrath of God. But when all this happens, a lot of people, they're going to cut ties, they're going to deny Jesus so that they can save their hide, save their skin, cover their butts, and they're going to deny the Lord who bought them. And when they deny him, day's going to come, he's going to deny them. And they're going to become reprobate, and more so, more and more wicked, just like it was in the days of Noah, just like it was in the days of Lot. But a lot of people, because they've heard that we're not going to go through any of this, and when they start having to go through it, they're going to say, I was lied to. If those people that told me about the pre-trib rapture and we're supposed to be out of here were wrong about that, and now we're seeing aliens revealing themselves and coming down here, you can't believe any of that Bible stuff. That Jesus stuff is all a bunch of garbage. And they're going to tell a lot of lies about Jesus too. They'll come with fake videos saying, we took video of this in the past. They may say, we've got his grave over here and we can show you where he was really buried from this video evidence. We Pleiadians or we Zeta Reticulans or whatever, members of Orion's belt or whatever. We just believe us, and y'all can be gods just like we are. When that stuff starts coming around, people are going to fall for it, hook, line, and sinker. And the reason they're going to do it is because they were told that they would be out of here. They weren't told, hey, all of this stuff is going to happen, and you're going to be there while it's happening. Just like Jesus said, they will hand you over and put you to death, not them that are left after I take you all out of here. He didn't say that. And we read about it, and a lot of people, the way they get around this is they'll say, well, the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse and the fifth seal, the martyrs, the Christians that are put to death, all the seals are God's wrath. It's not God's wrath. And I'm going to prove right now that it's not God's wrath, because God hadn't destined his children to wrath, like he said in 1 Thessalonians chapter 5. You've not been given over to wrath. You are children of the light, children of the day. We do not belong to the night or to the darkness. It says, since we belong to the day, verse 8, 1 Thessalonians 5:8, let us be sober, putting on faith and love as a breastplate and the hope of salvation as a helmet. For God did not appoint us to suffer wrath. Yet here in Revelation chapter 6, this is not the wrath of God. And this was where a lot of people get screwed up on their theology, because they say this is part of the Great Tribulation. And they include this in that 70th week of Daniel, these 7 years. And there's nothing here to say this opens up the 70th week of Daniel. Jesus called it the time of birth pangs. And the first 5, the first 4 seals, the white horse, the red horse where he brings war, the black horse. Here, let's just read it. I watched as the Lamb opened the first of the 7 seals, Revelation 6:1. And then I heard one of the 4 living creatures say in a voice like thunder, come. I looked, and there before me was a white horse. Its rider held a bow, and he was given a crown, and he rode out as a conqueror bent on conquest. When the Lamb opened the second seal, I heard the second living creature say, come. And then another horse came out, a fiery red one. Its rider was given power to take peace from the earth and to make people kill each other. To him was given a large sword. And when the Lamb opened the third seal, I heard the third living creature say, come. I looked, and there before me was a black horse. Its rider was holding a pair of scales in his hand. And then I heard what sounded like a voice among the 4 living creatures saying, 2 pounds of wheat for a day's wages, and 6 pounds of barley for a day's wages. I mean, that's like $100 a loaf for bread in today's money. And do not damage the oil and the wine. And when the Lamb opened the 4th seal, I heard the voice of the 4th living creature say, come. And I looked, and there before me was a pale horse. Its rider was named Death, and Hades was following close behind him. They were given power over a fourth of the earth to kill by sword, famine, and plague, and by the wild beasts of the earth. And boy, I could go into that. I'll do that in another video. And when he opened the fifth seal, I saw under the altar the souls of those who had been slain because of the word of God and the testimony they had maintained. Now, I want to ask you a question right here. If the seven seals are the wrath of God, why would God pour his wrath out on these in verse 9? I saw under the altar the souls of those who had been slain because of the word of God and the testimony they had maintained. Why would God pour his wrath out on his people that testify of him and maintain their testimony and allegiance to him? That's not the wrath of God. That, my friend, is the wrath of Satan. All of these seals, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, are showing us the wrath of Satan. And we read about Satan over there in chapter 12. He's cast down when there's war in heaven by Michael the archangel, and he starts chasing after God's people because he knows he has just a short time. And in the fury of his wrath, he starts going at, he kills a fourth of the earth's population. He brings about war. This is World Economic Forum type stuff here, what they're planning right now. The United Nations, Henry Kissinger, Jacob Rothschild, Mr. Burns, off of, what was that? The Simpsons was after Jacob Rothschild. These are the guys that are bringing the whole world to it. These, one angel's going to go cast him in a lake of fire real quick. But it says, these people who had been slain because of the word of God and the testimony they had maintained, they called out in a loud voice, "How long, sovereign Lord, holy and true, until you judge the inhabitants of the earth and avenge our blood?" And then each of them was given a white robe, and they were told to wait a little longer until the full number of their fellow servants, their brothers and sisters, were killed just as they had been. It's like when God promised Abraham, "I'm going to give you this land, but I'm going to have to send you down into Egypt for a while till the iniquity of the Canaanite reaches its zenith. Because when it does that, then I'm coming in and I'm going to turn my justice on big time, because they will have no excuse whatsoever. There won't be any loopholes. They will all have what's coming to them, just like he did when he wiped out everybody at Noah's flood, and at the time of Noah, and when he wiped out Sodom and Gomorrah. But so anyway, those are the first 5 seals, and here we come to Revelation chapter 6, verse 12. He says, "I watched as he opened the 6th seal, and there was a great earthquake. The sun turned black like sackcloth made of goat hair. The whole moon turned blood red, and the stars in the sky fell to earth as figs drop from a fig tree when shaken by a strong wind. The heavens receded like a scroll being rolled up, and every mountain and island was removed from its place. Then the kings of the earth, the princes, the generals, the rich, the mighty, and everyone else, both slave and free, hid in caves and among the rocks of the mountains, and they called to the mountains and the rocks, 'Fall on us and hide us from the face of him who sits on the throne and from the wrath of the Lamb.'" This 6th seal, you see all of a sudden, everybody on earth can see what's coming. The Catholic Church, with their wicked Pope, is looking through that Lucifer-looking device up there on Mount Graham, and they see him coming. And they are about to crap all over themselves. Urine's running down their leg. They're quivering, they're shaking, they're quaking. Because of what? The wrath of the Lamb. All this stuff that's happened up until now, it hadn't been the wrath of the Lamb. That was the wrath of the devil. And he released his wrath on the whole earth and was destroying it. And God said, okay, you've done what you can do. Now I'm going to show them what I can do, and I'm coming after you now. I'm going to have some fun with you. I'm going to have a lot of fun with you.